You are on Money Mondays with Jeff, where we talk to dope financial professionals on wealth building strategies to close the wealth gap here in America. I am so excited, guys. I get the opportunity to talk to the Draping Queen. Let me tell you a little bit of something about Miss Precious Stevens, who is the drapery queen. And what she does, she has a very unique expertise and training where she takes event training event professionals to master primary drapes. I mean, I've been to conferences and events and I've seen these drapery things, and it is a much luxurious display. And I was like, oh my God, I got to get this woman on Money Mondays with Jeff. And she got to give us some of this special sauce that she's doing and making these events look spectacular. So I am so happy and grateful to have her here tonight to talk a little bit about wealth building strategies and drapery and the outstanding community that she is building, helping her clients to appeal to high-end clients that are elevating their revenue in drapery design. Good evening, Miss Precious. Miss Precious, Miss Precious, good evening. How are you today?
I am fabulous as always, Jeff. Thanks for having me on your show.
Well, thank you for being here. Let's dive right into this because I've been waiting all day to have this conversation with you, right? So, one of the things I would like to know is what inspired you to transition, leave that big corporate job you told me you had to launch your own event business? And how did you find this passion for draping?
Man, so first of all, it wasn't a big corporate gig. Let's start there. Hey Keisha, hey Helen. So it was, I just had this passion to do something different other than what I was doing. Thankfully, I was employed with this company for about 7 years. But it wasn't no fulfillment there. And me being a creative, I just felt the need and the desire for more. I just didn't know what more looked like until I went to this event, and it just wheels got to spinning. And I was like, I love it. I could do it. And so I didn't know I was going to get into drapery though. That wasn't my thing. I just knew I wanted to make events look amazing. But with the lack of education back when I first started, I got in it and did it totally wrong. I got into event planning to find out I didn't like planning. I like making things beautiful, and that's not planning, that's design. So even with the design aspect, doing all the things, because I did all the things, and I fell in love with drapery. One of the reasons I really fell in love with it is because I could play out my creative vision and do whatever I wanted the fabric to do. But also I could get paid a coin, a whole coin.
Talk about that whole coin now.
So that made it look a little more sexy. So just really discovering that it was a thing, because it wasn't a lot of education around draping back then. And the big institutions kind of had the market cornered. So once I learned more about it and I saw a lack in the industry, I just said, that's my lane and I'm gonna dominate it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So talk to us a little bit about what motivated you to start the Posh Academy, and how has it elevated, since you first got it started in 2018?
Man, well, being totally honest, I had no idea I was even starting the Posh Academy, honestly. I was just helping people that had questions about drapery. And I just became this go-to. And so I just started thinking about how I felt when I didn't know things. And, everybody was tight-lipped and no one's giving you the information. And the only way for you to really get it is to pay this money for the big institution. So I said, I wanted to change the narrative and, just offer resources. So that's really how the Posh Academy was birthed. Just giving tips, tricks, resources. And it just turned into giving free education and free tips to now COVID happened. And when I first moved to Atlanta, which was in 2018, because that's when the Posh Academy happened, I came here with no notion, even thinking what this could really be. I just was following my gut. My gut just was saying, the people need you out here. The people need you. And I just kept showing up, and I went to do live classes, right? But COVID shut that down. So when COVID shut that down, that's when I started learning the power of pivoting and also diversity. And when I'm saying diversity now, I'm talking about I don't only have to teach hands-on, I could teach virtually. So being
Okay.
able to, do the thing virtually until COVID, shut down and I was able to go back on tour, this has been all I do. And it's like my passion. And it's not necessarily draping. It's just really the people I meet, the impact I'm able to create, the people I help. And if you asked me, I don't know, 2 years ago, like what I think or thought that the Posh Academy could even be what it is today, I would have said no. Like being able to always take it a step further. Like we started out with educating new designers and aspiring designers. Now we're going above that. Now I'm teaching people how to do what I do, which is educate, because I think our industry need more premium educators. So those ladies that's retiring, that's looking to retire, I had one of my students retire in December, and that is like the stuff. Like, how could you not be excited about that?
That's right.
So just that, and just realizing that it's so many different aspects to draping. It's so many different streams and sources that you really can tap into. And we just scratched the surface. I'm just excited for what's to come.
Well, thank you for answering the call and moving with your gut, because a lot of times that is so important, because I've seen so many people with so many great ideas talk themselves out of getting started. So thank you for heeding the call. That is so very, very, very important. Now, my question is, you have a lot of creative entrepreneurs out here, right? And a lot of them are looking to get into design. They may have done some knitting. They get exposed to, the draping queen, and then they start to want to ease in and start to look about how to do these premium backdrops. I saw that premium backdrop at an event that I was speaking at in Charlotte, that Sade Adu had put on, and when I walked into the room, I was like, "What?" I was I was like the song came to my head, like whoa. I was like whoa, like, because I'd never seen like a backdrop stage meticulously put together like that before. It was an awesome thing to kind of view and participate in. And so one of the things I want you to talk about a little bit is, like, when you are meeting with your creatives that are in your group in the Posh Academy, like, what are some of the fundamental tips that, if a creative was getting into the business, what would be some of the fundamental tips you would tell them for them to get started in drapery?
Main thing is a lot of people, and I get it, it makes sense. A lot of people get into these draping streets is what we call them. They get into these draping streets and they do all the things, but they kind of lead with the end result, and they do it wrong. They'll get the
Okay.
fabric, they'll get the equipment, only to find out they purchased the wrong thing. So I always encourage anyone that's looking to get started, because this is an expensive, it could be a business or a hobby. Pick your lane, but it can be expensive because our equipment is expensive, our fabrics is expensive. So I always tell them to start with education. You got to be
Okay.
properly educated and learning the things that what to do next. Otherwise, you just 9 times out of 10, I see it all the time. People in the groups and saying they bought this kit and it was the wrong kit, or it's not adjustable. It happens all the time. So I always encourage people to buy the education, and that does not necessarily mean you have to buy it, because for some people it's not feasible at the moment, which is why we have so many resources on YouTube, because I also found a void there. Like if you were looking to get started, I have so many videos on YouTube that can kind of help you get started until you build your arsenal, build your inventory until you can get into a class. But the ultimate thing is to get into a class.
So once you get into a class and you got your fundamentals down, like, what's the next step? If I was wanted to get into drapery, right, and do some of the high end designs like I saw in Charlotte, like, what would be some of the techniques that I can learn that will set me apart for some of the other designers?
So good question. And I think what I work so hard to do is to help people understand that there is a difference between basic draping and premium draping.
Okay.
And with premium draping, you will instantly know when you see premium quality. For one, is you're dealing with different textures, you're dealing with different blends, you're dealing with color combinations that's perfectly crafted, right? You could take a design A and design B, and they could look equivalent, but if the color combination or the texture is off, design A is going to kill design B every time. So a lot
Okay.
of those fundamental aspects of draping, people don't even pay attention to, and they don't realize how key it is. So when I say we teach the art of premium draping, it go a lot deeper than just some drapes, baby.
I like how you said that because what we do here at More Financial Solution, we teach them the art and the science of building wealth. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
I'm with you there. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. So you on Money Mondays with Jeff. I love Money Mondays because it gives me an opportunity to talk to a dope financial professional. We talk about wealth building strategies and we talk about business opportunities that we could get into that can kind of close the wealth gap here in America. I am talking to Miss Precious Stevens, the owner of the Posh Academy, that is a luxurious draping design company. I still was amazed. I never was introduced to this drapery design until I went to this conference in Charlotte, and I was just mesmerized. I remember walking up and talking with one of the ladies, and I was like, it looks so perfect. I was like, I had to ask permission, can I touch it? I was like, can I just touch it? She was looking at me like, yeah, you can touch it. But it looked so good. I didn't want to touch it, baby. That's how pretty and that's how good it looked. And the quality and the design of it, it was just fantastic. So, you know, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. One of the things I also wanted you to kind of touch upon, because you mentioned about the quality, you mentioned about the design, you mentioned about the technique, you mentioned some of the things that you can do to separate from a beginner to a seasoned kind of designer. But if from the outside looking in, how do you kind of like ensure that the quality and durability of the materials that you use in the premium draping designs is like, how do you measure that and putting that together in a design?
so for one, is all about the foundation, and the foundation is going to be your equipment, which is your hardware. And there's so many different companies that carry different various equipment pieces, but for what we do, you need something that's durable and that can have the capacity to hold the weight, because we drape with a lot of fabric. So you definitely, if you're shopping around, look at the weight capacity, look at what it can hold, and look at what is used. We use aluminum steel. So some of these kits cannot hold the amount of weight that we use. Um, and that's the main thing, is like understanding the different levels of variations. Like, just because if it's a backdrop, right? If it's basic, it's going to hold minimal fabric. So almost any kit probably would do. But when you step into premium land, in these draping streets, premium land, you're going to need something more durable. So we'll shop around and test, but right now we'll supply ourselves. But in the beginning, we were testing equipment, and some of the equipment was faulty, and it would like buckle. So that's things that they want to look for. And also with fabric, like fabric, baby, you got to know how to touch you know what luxury feel like. But it really got everything to do with density, meaning how heavy it is, right? But
Okay.
if you don't understand the aspects and understanding the zones of your backdrop, meaning fabric A, zone 1 only requires this kind of fabric, zone 2 requires a different kind of fabric. You got to know how to really construct this thing and put it together. So that's key. But the main thing is definitely the density, making sure that it's premium, making sure it's not transparent, meaning see-through. Like, that's a lot of the cheaper blends of fabric is very see-through, very frail, if I will say. So it's come on, Deirdre. She said foundation and zones are important. They know. See, they know.
Hmm.
But that's what it is. Definitely making sure you have that. And you want to know when you know it's good. And this is how I started in the beginning because I
Tell
didn't
me how
know.
you
I
know.
wasn't.
Tell me how you know when it's good.
This is how you know when it's good. When you look at it and that thing be like, when that fabric make you say, what is
So
that?
that's what happened to me. That's why I was like, whoa, can I touch it? I was like, can I touch it?
They did. We did do a fabulous job,
It was
job
almost
in
it was
Charlotte.
almost like it was almost like, you know, when your sisters just get their hair done and they'd be looking all believe like, dang, can I touch it? That's how that
So
Drake thing was getting down. That it was like, wow. Um, you know, one of the things this leads me up into my next question, right? So if I am interested in getting into drapery and I want to learn more about it, I want you to talk a little bit about because I heard that this thing is the bomb. I'm dating myself because I was gonna say the bomb.com. You know, nobody people don't talk like that no more. But I heard it was on point. You got a 2-day, two profit, 2-day seminar. I want you to talk about that 2-day, two profit seminar, what you got going on, and if how people can come and the people who want to come, what would they expect when they attend this 2-day, two profit 2-day seminar that you're doing.
So the actual seminar is over. Like we just wrapped up our final tour for 2024. But we do a 2-day premium draping masterclass. We go on tour. The next tour doesn't start into March of 2025, but we have a free masterclass.
So back that thing up a little bit. Back it up a little bit. I want since because I was all up in the bio and reading all this stuff. I didn't know that all the dates had went by for 2024 already. So could you just really touch upon like what happens during that 2-day to set them up for March of next year, and then talk about the master class that you have coming up for the rest of this year?
So the tour is pretty much your one-stop shop for all of your premium draping needs. What was happening at first, it used to be 1 day, and I would teach them hands-on technique and how to actually drape. But what was happening is they know how to drape, but now they don't know how to properly price it, pitch it, get paid for it, find the people that's going to book it. So that led us to do day one, which is a business seminar. So that's our focus. We not only teach you positioning, you got to position your business in the marketplace where people see you, bring traffic to your business, and you're getting booked. But outside of that, you got to know pricing. Pricing is a big issue in the draping streets. Always have been, and it's just getting worse because they have people just throwing random numbers out, and it just doesn't make sense. And it's really hurting the premium draping industry. So I need y'all to stop. But after the pricing is the people, right? Like you got to have traffic coming to your business. Otherwise, if you don't have any traffic, you have a hobby. And my ladies don't do all this work to just have a hobby. So it's all about positioning, pricing, and the people, getting everybody to your business. Then we wrap it up with the actual hands-on instruction. And that's a full day of just teaching draping all day long. Where when you leave, it ain't even when you leave. It's like when you get halfway through the morning, we instantly see a shift in confidence because most ladies come there thinking, I'm not going to be able to do it. Mm-hmm. Baby, after 2 days with me, yes, you will.
I'm laughing because I'll be saying the same thing with me. I'm like, because it's all this wealth building thing is all about confidence too. And I'm like, once you spend an hour with me, I don't need a whole 2 days. I just need 1 hour. I'm gonna change that confident thing around because once you understand what's going on, you'll know what to do. And I'm getting the same kind of vibes that's what happens during your 2-day session. But one of the things that I see, especially in the business space, right, is that, you know, entrepreneurs don't spend enough time with mastery with what they're doing. They don't spend a lot of time with mindset because mindset is the most important part of the whole business equation, right? Because what you think is really what's going to happen, right? So if you believe that you can do it, or if you believe that you can't, whatever you believe is going to actualize, right? And the marketing component is so very, very, very important, especially since COVID, where the whole world turned around upside down, and where things typically used to work before, you got to find innovative ways to continue to market, to stay in front of people. So one of the things that I want you to elaborate a little bit, if you can, could you touch upon like a mastery and mindset and marketing and how that plays in your business for your business to be successful in those areas?
So, and in those areas, and that's realistically the part of my client attraction mastery program. And I learned it's pretty much the framework that was developed because that's how I was able to achieve success in a short amount of time. I had
Okay.
to start with mindset, period.
Right.
I was only broke because I was thinking as a broke person. I was operating as a broke person. So that's why that was my reality, right? But at the time, I didn't think I was broke. I thought I was being careful. I'll just say I thought I was being careful. But so mindset is I lead everything I do with mindset because realistically, no matter what I do, no matter what anyone teaches you, if you don't really believe in yourself that you can
Right.
achieve it, it ain't going to happen. So you got to think most of my ladies are in we are down midlife, right? So everything that we've learned 50 years before, 40 years before, that takes some time to kind of start unraveling. It don't happen overnight. So mindset is really important. Once I realized that everything that I was complaining about, I was directly attached to it in some kind of way. I was playing a part in it in some kind of way. Once I learned the power of mindset and shifting it around, everything for me was beginning to change.
One of the things I always say to myself is like what you say to yourself when you talk to yourself matters. That is like one of the key things in this whole equation. That self-talk. That self-talk will either elevate your dreams or it will kill your dreams. So what are you saying to yourself when you talk to yourself? That is the most important thing that matters. I want to touch upon something that Deidre said in the comments. She said she see a lot of people who are teaching classes and they don't feel like they know all of the benefits and the features themselves.
That happens a lot. Yeah. Come on, Deirdre. She know.
Deidre hitting them. She hitting all those bells tonight, boy. Like ding, ding, ding. She hitting all of them. I mean, I see that a lot especially on social media.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people only are talking about sound bites and they really don't know. They lost after the sound bite as far as how the product works, how the strategy to make the product work, like how to tie everything in together. One of the things that I think is so important, right, is when we have these educational classes and environments that people take advantage of them, because when you understand what's going on, you'll know what to do. And the right information will change your situation. So I'm encouraging you all. Like when she gets this thing rolled up back in 2025, if you're interested in the drapering business or even tap in with her now with her master classes, if this is something that you want to get into and want to learn and want to master, and more importantly, be profitable, make sure you tap in to what the Posh Academy is doing, tap into their learning, tap into Precious. She's a great resource. And one of the things I like is she has a beautiful spirit where she wants to see everyone win. So I really like that aspect of her. And I want you to talk a little bit about, like, can you just teach us like one strategy? Or you could take one strategy, because I want to set these people up so when March come around, they like, I'm in. You know what I mean? So can you share like one strategy that you would maybe use to have a drapery person to attract a high paying client?
So those that's looking to attract higher paying clients, one key thing that I would say do immediately is double your fabric. A lot of you guys are not using enough fabric. Some people can drape amazing, but they lack the amount of fabric, and it doesn't say premium. It doesn't say that. And if someone's walking down the street and, I'm on side A, I'm on B side, and someone else is on A side, and we both drape amazing, but I'm draping at a premium level, my invoice going to get paid all day.
Wow.
Easiest thing is double up your fabric. And that's a whole nugget right there.
Nugget. So my next question, the follow-up would be, is if someone's in the drapery, what or creative entrepreneur. I'm gonna call it a creative entrepreneur, not just drapery, because I know
Mm-hmm.
you touched on a little bit of everything. But if I'm a creative entrepreneur, how can I leverage like the skills in drapery or draping to kind of build generational wealth? How can I take it up to the next level so that my kids and their friends could benefit off the work that I'm doing today in draping?
So I mean, it's a couple things that you could do. One thing that I did, and I'm glad I did it, is you got to make your money employable. No one, I'm a little lazy. I don't do a lot of labor. I think
Hold
I've
on,
had
pause
my
for a
time.
minute. Pause for a minute. You said make your money what?
Employable.
Employable. I'm gonna steal that from you because you know what I say. We say you got to take that money and create some money babies. But
Oh,
I
I
kind
like
of like
that.
I
Okay.
kind of like that. Make that money employable. So I'm gonna steal that from you, and you can steal mine
I got
from me.
the money babies. Okay. So that's one of the things, like that's why I love bringing like people, like resources like you to help properly educate us, because a lot of us in this industry, even through COVID, we have reached or had access to money that we've never seen in our life, right? And no matter how much mindset you do or you how much work you've done, you still got those old habits still, pondering around like, oh Lord, what now, what now, what now? But for me, since I'm an educator, and the first thing I always seek is education, because anything that I want or desire, the only thing that's preventing me from it is the know-how. I don't know how. So if I invest in the know-how, then I implement what I've learned. That's like what it is. And I would like to see a lot of us creatives do that. Like, we making the money, right? But now make the money work for you. I can't be draping and doing all that for the next 10 years. I didn't stop, child, 2 years ago. So the only reason I've had the amount of success I had and making my money grow is by tapping into investing and different other buckets of generational wealth building. But if I didn't, I don't know, because as quick as you make the money, baby, you spending it, because it costs to level up. The cost of the level up is real.
Don't talk about the level up without talking about the level up. Because the level up is real.
The level up is real. I'm trying to tell you. So
And
that's
Uncle Sam and Aunt Bunny is waiting for you to level up.
I'm trying to tell you. So main thing is like being able to protect your money, though. It's nothing worse than, you making this money and find out you got to give 30% of it away or whatever because you're not properly educated.
Yep.
It's so many different ways out here to protect your money. And that's one thing I can say. Look, Keisha, come on, Keisha, come on, Terry. They say that part.
Yep.
But really, though, that's why I told you instantly when we met, I said, I love what you were doing, because the thing is, you know how we is with money. Y'all know how we is with money.
Mm-hmm.
But the way you were able to articulate it, I was like, you're needed out here in these streets. So
yeah,
I'm
so
hoping.
that's like why we are like, I'm so intentional right now. And it was funny because I was having this conversation with my wife and I was saying, most black folks, when you talk to black folks, we know how to make the money. Like, making the money has never really been the issue. Since the beginning of time, since they taught us how to read, we started learning how to make the money.
Exactly.
But nobody ain't really teaching us how to keep the money, protect the money, save the money, invest the money,
Exactly.
send the money to the future so that the next generation can live off the luxuries that you're living off of right now, right?
Exactly.
So that's why we build our little community. And that's why it's important that the education is there, because the education changes the situation. And I'm very intentional on teaching people how to utilize cash value life insurance, because I think it's the most underutilized product, underutilized resource,
Yeah.
underutilized way to build wealth in the Black and brown communities. And I was like, I got to do something about that, because to be quite frankly, I got tired of going to meetings and seeing how the white boys and the Asian boys and the Indian boys, they be pimping our life insurance out like it is like no tomorrow. And I was like, we got to bring some of these strategies back into our community so we can utilize those strategies too. Because if it's good for them, it should be good for us as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that you are building a community to teach how to level up and create a luxurious
Mm.
I like to call it a luxurious community in draping, because I'm still mesmerized. But Charlotte changed me for you, girl. I'm just gonna let you know. That was my
We did
first
do our
intro.
thing down in Charlotte. We did put it down.
That was my first introduction, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I was with it 100%. And I'm always going to continue to be with it because, from a visual perspective, it was like one of the best things that you can ever see.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to draping professionals looking to diversify their income?
So, it's so many ways to do it. First thing is with me, it was easy to diversify what I had going on because I didn't want to attach everything to my services. Like I didn't want to physically have to do stuff to make money. So I
Mhm.
started looking at other ways of generating recurring revenue. That way, if you're going to have a slow month, you're going to have a slow period, but at the end of the day, money still need to flow, baby. So finding out ways that can happen with rental, just different rental streams. Like you got the equipment, make it employable. I make everything employable. Okay. You got the equipment, make it employable, rent it out. You got the fabric, rent it out. Partner with some venues, become an affiliate, or things like Jeff said. Like I think that was probably one of the smartest decisions I've ever made, which was getting that the insurance policies and just investing, because I still need, it's no sense of having the money sitting there in the bank. Like you need it to be working. Like it got to have two legs and two arms and like actually like a machine, like actually working. So I encourage anyone, if you have it, like this is the next step. It was something you said the other day. Save first. What you said?
Save money. I say you save money before you spend money. You always have some money. And if you
Exactly.
save your money outside of death, your money will always save you.
Exactly. Like, and I think enough of us don't realize that. So one thing, and I love that I'm even on this podcast because yeah, I've had a lot of success with draping. I had a lot of success with educating. I had a lot of success with my shops and things like that. However, I'm able to sleep at night and not worrying because of the investments that I made. So that was, like I said, the smartest thing I've ever done. And I definitely encourage other creatives or us, period, to definitely tap into it.
So, what role do you think mentorship plays in building generational wealth and helping um, business owners succeed in their careers?
I think it play a critical role. And I'm going to say this for one, had I not had the mentorship or was under the mentorship that I had, I wouldn't have never invested because again, I said earlier, the only thing that's keeping me from making a move is not knowing what move to make. So then if I don't know, now I'm going straight to the resource. I'm going straight to the source. Like, oh, this is what you do? You good at it? You had some success with it? You got to do your research first. You know that, right?
Mhm.
But then like definitely, because we don't know and we don't know everything. So the main thing that you can do is get in a room with people that's smarter than you.
Mhm.
I don't want to be in a room where I know everything and I am the go-to person. Like that's a real boring room to be in. So being able to partner with a financial advisor or a mentor or something like that that can better advise you on the things that you don't know so your money can grow.
That's right. I like to look at mentorship like, if like the way I pictured it in my mind. I'm like, if I'm a mentor, my job and my obligation is to help you to avoid all of the traps and all of the pitfalls, like that. Like, to use an analogy, if you're driving down the street, I'm supposed to tell you, hey, over here is a pit, is a pothole. Don't drive
Exactly.
your car over there because it's going to tear your car up. Make sure you make this turn right here and slow down because there's a cop over there. He's gonna give you a ticket if you're going too fast. Like you gotta have like know where all of the holes and the gaps are, and only experience really could kind of prepare you for mentorship, because
Exactly.
you're basically teaching people not to make the mistakes that you made and to give them the education that they need to elevate what they're doing so that the mistakes that they're making is not compounded. So
Yeah.
those are like the way that I like to look at it, and that's the kind of role that I look at it, even as a mentor, even as an advisor. Like I want to position my clients for guaranteed success, because I'm going to study and learn, and I'm going to utilize the experiences that I had to make sure that their position, that their money is going to be there to do the things that they intended to do without any loss. So that's the
Mhm.
kind of way I look at mentorship. And I think it's important that everybody should have a mentor.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
If you're following someone and they don't have a mentor, like, that's a problem.
That
And
is a problem.
one of my biggest expenses outside of marketing is in mentorship. You
Yeah.
know, I spend a lot of money in mentorship because I want to be able to learn what not to do from the experiences of other, and also to leverage the relationships of the mentor that I have as well. I think that is so important, why you should be in a mentor, and to be in a mentorship program, and to be a mentor
A
as
mentor.
well.
I agree. I agree. Me even this year alone, going heavily deeper in my programs and in my mentorship programs, is really experiencing firsthand the benefits of that. Case in
Mhm.
point, just being right here on the podcast with you. All of the connections I've been making, I would say over the past 2 months, came directly tied to some opportunity, right? But that's why I say it's important to get in the room and get
Yep.
connected with people that are, they don't have to be in direct correlation to what you do, but when they say is your network is your net worth, that is super true. And
Yep.
mentors should have mentors, because at the end of the day, we get dumped on a lot, right? We take a lot of information. I was talking with a colleague of mine earlier, and they was at one of my tour stops, and like, it's a really emotional thing being in those spaces, and that is, they the kind of relationships it can be. So we
Mhm.
need somewhere to be able to dump and offload and get filled back up and get direction, right? Because we don't know everything, and that's
Mhm.
why it's key. Mentors should have mentors, coaches should have coaches, because at the end of the day, there's always someone that is attached directly to your next level.
That is so true. We are on Money Mondays with Jeff. We talk to dope financial professionals, and we talk about closing some wealth building strategies here to close the wealth gap here in America. I'm talking to Miss Precious, also known as the Draping Queen, getting so much knowledge and getting so much good energy. Um, and I want to talk to you guys about a conference that we are having coming up. Not a conference, but more of a summit in November. It's going to take place November 1st and 2nd in Atlanta. It's called the Cash Value Wealth Builder Summit, and where we are teaching how to leverage cash value life insurance to be an asset to buy real estate, to buy stocks, to put in back into your business, to create generational wealth and be able to reduce your taxes and have you be in control of your money for the rest of your life. So I know it's stuff that nobody ever told you you could do with life insurance. We're going to tell you how to do it with life insurance, because there's a reason why they call it life insurance. And I know all of y'all out there thinking that life insurance is for when you die, but it's the reason why they call it life insurance. If life insurance was for you die, they would have called it death insurance. But that's another story. We're talking about Precious right here. So, what are some of the key financial milestones that creative entrepreneurs should aim to secure um, their financial future? So, what's some of the milestones they should be looking to hit, to make sure that their financial future is going to be good? Precious, you there? Did I lose Precious? Precious froze on me. I lost Precious, y'all. I'm gonna see if she gets back in a minute so we can continue our conversation here. Um, Here she comes. She's coming back now.
Okay, I don't know what happened. Sorry.
You came in that hot that they had to drop you off.
Came in hot. Okay, so milestones. We have milestones, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so milestones. Realistically, I would say your first milestone when they're in this industry and everyone's first goal is six figures. I get it, but I want them to cut it back a notch and be at 50K because a lot of us that's pretty much what we're making per year. If they're making that amount. So realistically, if you can make that amount in your creative business, that is an indication that you're going to be all right. And that is the bottom of the totem pole. Realistically, even six figures hitting that glass ceiling is the bottom as well. So they are some good mile markers to kind of start setting yourself up for success. I like the 50K mark because if you can do that on your own in your business, the sky's the limit from that point. But if you can hit that and start investing, you can invest small, but you can start making those changes immediately. It'll start shifting your mindset right away. You'll start realizing that, oh, I'm halfway there. I just need 50K more to get to the six figures, right? From 100K is at that 250. But once you get in it, it's like a cycle. Once you see that it's real, you will want to start investing more because you'll see the power in it. And even me, I was like, what? We move a little slow. You're like, hold on now. Hold on. But when you see the power in it, it's like really invigorating to kind of make you want to keep going. So I would say at 50K, once you hit 50K, if you can make that in your creative business on your own, then that is a clear indication that you got something that somebody want and you just need to keep going and double up. But that is like your mark to go ahead and start dumping your money, make it employable, start making it work and creating your plan.
That's what's up. So what advice would you give for entrepreneurs looking to pass on their business, and their wealth to the next generation? What would you say to that entrepreneur?
So those that's looking to pass on their business and the wealth, main thing is you want to have it set up properly from the gate. And I don't want you guys going on YouTube and trying to figure it out and going
Yeah,
y'all, they out there trying to figure it out and piece it together. Like you'll start talking about that kind of money. I know in the beginning for a lot, it doesn't seem realistic, but I'm trying to tell you it is. And you want to have things set up properly in the beginning because there's so much information out there and you can, one wrong move can kind of take you out. So you definitely want to be advised by people that really do this thing. And I mean, have track records, have, success stories and making sure that you're protected, because had I known then what I know now, I'm set up good now. But in the beginning, I never really set my business up for success and making it have the ability to pass on to my children or my child, right? Like I wasn't even thinking that way. Now that's the only thing I think about. Like it has to be positioned in a way where they can take it over, or if something happened that it's in great standing where it can happen. But going into it, we only thinking from our creative standpoint. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that. But if you have the end game in mind, like actually envision that thing, right? Everything that I'm doing now is because I need my business to be sellable. I need to be able to sell it, pass it on. So it has to be positioned differently. It can't be all filled up with Precious loves purple and Precious loves pink. It has to be positioned properly. Don't laugh, Jeff, because you're not telling the truth. But I want you guys to have the end game in mind first, like really think. And most of my ladies, they're in that second phase of life. So this ain't the time. You don't got a lot of time to play around with it and get things wrong. Which is why it's important to go ahead, pay for the education you don't know, so that it could be set up properly from the gate.
Make sure you have a good strategy in place as well.
That part.
Because one of the biggest conversations that I have with my clients, as they come in, is like they have no strategy, no end game, no exit plan.
Right.
They just going with the flow. And I'm like, when you go with the flow, you lose a whole lot of dough. So that's why I'm like, you got to make sure that your plan is in place and you are in a position to execute that plan and have an exit strategy. Because when you understand what's going on, you'll know what to do. And that's one of the things that is so important in wealth building is understanding what is going on. Deidre said, Jeff, what inspires you? Oh my God. You didn't ask the wrong one. What inspires me, right? I'm gonna tell you guys a little story, like how I got into this business, because I had my whole life all planned out, right? Um, I got my bachelor's and my master's degree from Penn State University, and I was planning to go and be a teacher, right? And as a kid, I played chess. So my goal was to go teach, and in the summertime, travel the United States, travel the world, and play chess, play in every chess tournament that I could, because I was that guy when I was growing up as a kid. You know, I was one of them hood nerds. You know what I mean? I was from the hood, and would fight every day, but I was a nerd as well. So just picture that. But anyway, I got into this business by accident, and when I as a kid, I used to remember that a white man used to come by the house on the 15th of every month, and he would get $50 from my mom, and he would write it in a book. And I remember some days that we went without electricity, we went without gas, we went without water sometimes. But on the 15th of every month, my mom made a point to haze my dad to make sure that that $50 is there to pay for this insurance contract. And this went on for years. I mean, it probably, because I'm the youngest of 8 kids. So I know my mom had that plan well before I was born. And when I got into the business, I asked, I was, as a kid growing up, I was like, Mom, why are you always giving this man $50 and, every month? Like, what is going on? And she was like, baby, this is a life insurance contract. There's going to be some money in it for us to, if it's an emergency or whatever we need it for to bury. But so I had that whole spill. So when I got in the business, I read that policy because I had all those memories, and it was like no money in that policy that my mom had in it. And she had paid more money in the plan than what the policy was
Mhm.
worth. And to get back to your question, Deidre, that inspires me to make sure that any person that I ever deal with, or any person that ever get information from me, or any person that has an interaction with me around money, that they never experience what my mother and my father experienced from putting money into a dead product that provided them no benefits unless something bad happened to them. So
Mhm.
that's the thing that inspires me the most. And when I learned about how the rich was using life insurance, when I read the story about the Rockefellers and how they propelled their wealth, and when I read how McDonald's and Disneyland and all of these companies that we still know and treasure today was
Mhm.
built on life insurance, I was like, man, somebody gotta tell this message on what this product is and what this product does to people who look like me. So
Yeah.
that's the thing that inspires me, Deidre. So excuse me for going off on a little tirade as I tell that little bit of part of the story, but that is the thing that motivates me to get better. That motivates me to spend so much money that I do to get the education. It motivates me to get out of my shell, to talk to people like Precious here, because I want people to have the information, because when you understand what's going on, you know what to do. So
Yeah.
that is the thing that inspires me to get as many first generation high income earners to understand what's going on with their money, so that they'll know what to do with it, and that they can build a pot of money to make sure that they send it ahead to the future, so that the future kids and the kids will not only just know their name, but they'll have some money to buy some assets to be able to continue to have their lives to move forward.
I love it.
So I feel like I just got finished preaching. So I'm going to be sending my cash app out tonight to collect some tithe from you, Deidre, because you had me in a little church service here tonight. But in a transition, Precious, can you tell us what's a fun or surprising fact about draping that most people don't know but could enhance their designs?
Uh, a fun fact. So, guys, a fun fact. So, for one, I love color. I won't necessarily say the more color, the 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 more the merrier. But I love
Uh-huh.
color. Definitely being able to master color combination is a clear way of making your backdrop stand out. Like really, I mean, just really getting creative, but you gotta master color theory. A lot of people don't do that and understand how color evoke emotion, how it plays on the eye. I would say color because that's when I have the most fun playing in color. I never know how my designs are really going to turn out because I'm just picking colors I randomly like and then figuring out what colors come, partner with it good. But that's like one of the show stopping or scroll stopping rather things when I hear people talk about a lot about my stuff. They say the color, like how do you get those colors to work? Um, they always say the color, the color, the color. So play, don't be scared of it. Play with some color. And you may get it wrong in the beginning, but that's okay. You can always enhance it and master it later, but stop being scared and sticking with the white, black, gold, ivory, purple. Play with some color. Liven it up a little bit.
Now, check this out, Precious. I want you to close your eyes.
All right.
I want you to dream a little bit, right?
Okay.
If you can design a dream event with unlimited resources, what would it look like?
Oh man. What would it look like?
Mhm.
It would be, it would look like, it would be really colorful. It probably would look like something for the Indian culture. I love their fabric blends. I love the color, the different textures. So it would definitely be a big colorful party, probably for the Indian culture. And they party for days. So I don't gotta take it down right away. I can kind of keep it up for a couple days.
Okay.
But yeah, like color just excites me. It just really, I don't know. I'm living out my younger kid these days with just color.
Speaking about your younger kid, if you could go back and give your younger self some valuable piece of information in this business, what would you tell yourself?
Man, if I could give that little girl some advice, that you are more than enough. Not you are enough, you are more than enough. And to just get started.
More than enough and just get started. I like that. What's the most memorable event that you designed and what made it stand out?
So is it memorable because it's good, or is it memorable because it's big?
You could go there either way.
Okay, the most memorable one. Honestly, I would say was it a baby shower? It was a baby shower, but you clearly would have thought that this was a wedding.
Okay.
So I love the wedding themes, right? I love weddings, but I don't like doing any work for weddings because it's just too emotional and I'm just not that girl.
Okay.
But this baby shower, it was white. It was it was just so pretty and so elegant. They had a budget of a wedding. And I think for me, I enjoyed it because I think that was as close as I was going to get to a wedding because I decided I wasn't going to do weddings anymore. So it was just beautiful. It was super beautiful, even though it was a baby shower, but I was able to live out my creative design because most times when people hire me, I don't have it's not a set design. It's like kind of go for what you know. And I don't know. It just was really beautiful. It was it was real elegant. It wasn't a lot of color. It was white and gold, but the level that they took it to was like, I think I was just experiencing like people pay this much money for a party. They pay this much money for a baby shower. And then kind of just exposed me to like, oh yeah, that's my lane. I'm ready to run with it. I'm ready to run with it.
I got you. I got you. So, Money Mondays with Jeff, we're going to wrap up right now, right? And when we wrap up, I have a signature question that I ask all of my guests, right? And it comes down to this. What's one piece of wisdom that you believe everyone should know about money, regardless of their field or their background?
About money.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is understanding that money is just a tool. Utilize it as a tool. Of course, you need it for whatever it is, but realistically, if you think about money differently, you won't be so emotionally tied to it. and have everything dependent upon it. How I think about money now versus how I thought about it then. Now it's just a thing like, oh, okay, it's just a goal. It's like, oh, this is what I need for, oh, I want a yacht. Oh, I need this amount. Okay, let's just go back on tour. It's just realizing that it's a tool, and it can definitely provide you with the lifestyle, whatever it is you desire. However, the real talent comes from within. Money is just the thing that's going to be in exchange for what it is that you want.
How can people get in contact with you? They want to continue this conversation.
So, guys, if you want to continue this conversation, or you're looking to get into these draping streets with your girl Precious Stevens of the Posh Academy, I have a free masterclass this Thursday. All you got to do is type "draping for dollars." That's draping, the number $4, because that's what we do. We drape for dollars around here, and attend the masterclass to see how you can get started. And on Thursday, we're talking about how to attract organic traffic to your business. I know a lot of people talk about ads. It's good, but guess what? You can attract organic traffic to your business. So that's what the masterclass is about this Thursday. And guys, I don't know if y'all know, but this Thursday is super special because it is 8/8 and the class is at 8 o'clock. If y'all don't know about 8/8 and the power that hold, I need y'all to go YouTube that or Google that.
Well,
and come spin it with me at 8 o'clock.
Well, thank you, Precious.
Thank you, Jeff.
It's been a most wonderful time this last hour spending with you here on Money Mondays with Jeff. Any last words, departing words you want to tell your audience? Tell our audience?
No, I don't have any other words other than just realize you are enough. You are more than enough. And the answer is within. Now go out there and tell the universe what you are great at so that you could get paid for it. And then you could go and invest with Jeff.
That's right. And on that note, we're going to leave it right there. Money Mondays with Jeff. Where we talk to dope financial professionals about wealth building strategies to close the wealth gap here in America. I look forward to bringing another dope professional next Monday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where we're going to give you some information so you can understand what's going on, so you'll know what to do. Thank you again, Precious. And I look forward to being a service to you in the future.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.